बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। इस वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं एमसीक्यूज फर्स्ट ईयर के प्ले सेक्शन से। और फर्स्ट ईयर के प्ले सेक्शन का जो सेकंड प्ले है प्रोग्रेस, उसके एमसीक्यूज हम डिस्कस करेंगे। और इस वीडियो को हमने इस तरह से प्लान किया है कि पहले पार्ट में हम डिस्कस करेंगे जो ओवरऑल एमसीक्यूज हैं इस प्ले के उनको, और फिर लेटर पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करेंगे वो तमाम तरह एमसीक्यूज जो कि पिछले 22 सालों में इस प्ले से रिलेटेड पूछे जा चुके हैं। 22 साल के इस तरह से कि उसके अंदर 11 साल के कॉमर्स के पेपर्स होंगे और 11 साल के उसके अंदर साइंस के पेपर्स शामिल होंगे। तो ये वीडियो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है तमाम तरह स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जो फर्स्ट ईयर साइंस के हों, कॉमर्स के हों, आर्ट्स के हों, चाहे होम इकोनॉमिक्स के हों, चाहे मेडिकल टेक्नोलॉजी के हों, सबके लिए ये वीडियो इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो इसे एंड तक जरूर देखिएगा। चलते हैं एमसीक्यूज की तरफ। The play Progress was penned by St. John G. Ervine, Alexander Dumas, J. H. Walsh, Dickens. The play Progress was set in 1719, 1819, 1919, 1916. The playwright set the play Progress to show its effect on a layman, scientist, statesman, bankers. On the progress of the world, the play Progress is actually A or N criticism, account, analysis, appreciation. Progress is a play that shows progress in humanities, commerce, science, technology. आपको पता है कि आपको काम कैसे करना है। आप वीडियो को पॉज करें और वीडियो को पॉज करने के बाद अपने आंसर्स कहीं लिख लें या सोच लें दिमाग में कि इसके सही आंसर्स क्या होंगे। उसके बाद वीडियो को रिज्यूम करके अपने आंसर्स को चेक कर लें। Here are the right answers. The play Progress was penned by St. John G. Ervine. The play Progress was set in 1919. The playwright said the play Progress to show its effect on a layman. On the progress of the world, the play Progress is actually a criticism. Progress is a play that shows progress in science. अगर आप ये चाहते हैं कि आप जो पहला प्ले है जिसका नाम है द काउंट्स रिवेंज, उसके भी ओवरऑल एमसीक्यूज अलोंग विद द डिस्कशन ऑफ पास्ट पेपर्स देख सकें, तो उस वीडियो का लिंक आपके स्क्रीन के टॉप राइट पे जो आई बटन आ रहा है उसमें मौजूद है, वो क्लिक करके आप देख सकते हैं। The character of Professor Henry Curry symbolizes selfishness and greed, intelligence and innovation, love and care, intelligence and patriotism. Curry is intelligent but evil-minded, intelligent and cool-minded, intelligent and human-loving, intelligent and patriotic. Curry has invented an ordinary bomb, massively destructive bomb, dangerous bomb, cluster bomb. In the center of Curry's room, there's a litter of scientific apparatus, clothes and knives, trash, model of bombs. तो आप इस वीडियो को पॉज करके अपने आंसर्स लिख लीजिए और उसके बाद रिज्यूम करके इसके करेक्ट आंसर्स देख लीजिए। The character of Professor Henry Curry symbolizes selfishness and greed. Curry is intelligent but evil-minded. Curry has invented a massively destructive bomb. In the center of Curry's study room, there's a litter of scientific apparatus. Professor Curry is aged about 50 and 60, 55 and 65, 60 and 70, 65 and 75. The face of the Professor Curry has thickish beard, bearded, mustache, shaven. A human being is of less consequence to him than testing bomb, wealth, resting at home, success of a minor experiment. Mrs. Malden is aged about 35, 41, 42, 43. The scene is in the study room of Professor Curry, Mrs. Malden, Hannah, Tom. पॉज कर लें वीडियो को, अपने आंसर्स को एक जगह पे लिख लीजिए, उसके बाद वीडियो को रिज्यूम करके अपने करेक्ट आंसर्स चेक कर लें। Here are the correct answers. Professor Curry is aged between 50 and 60. The face of Professor Curry has thickish beard. A human being is of less consequence to him than the success of even a minor experiment. Mrs. Malden is aged about 43. The scene in the study room is in the study room of Professor Curry. अगर आप ये देखना चाहते हैं कि आप अपने बोर्ड की कॉपी की प्रेजेंटेशन कैसी रखें और किन मिस्टेक्स को अवॉइड करें और किस तरह से ज्यादा मार्क्स हम हासिल कर सकें, तो उसके लिए जो वीडियो है वो आपके स्क्रीन के टॉप राइट पर आ रही है, आई बटन, उस पर लिंक मौजूद है, क्लिक करके आप उसे देख सकते हैं। The scene is on a spring day, winter day, autumn day, summer day. The scene of the play is set in the year 1919, 1920, 1921, 1918. In the play progress, Hannah is or an servant, guest, expert teacher, scientist. Eddie is Mrs. Meldon's son, late son, nephew, stepbrother. Eddie is Professor Curry's son, brother, nephew, Trevor. पॉज कर लें वीडियो को और वीडियो को पॉज करने के बाद अपने आंसर्स एक जगह पे लिख लें और उसके बाद वीडियो को रिज्यूम करके अपने आंसर्स चेक कर लें. Here are the right answers. The scene is on a spring day. The scene of the play is set in the year 1919. In the play progress, Hannah is a servant. Eddie is Mrs. Meldon's late son. Eddie is Professor Curry's nephew. Curry is a person who does not value human and moral values, his family and friends, wealth and fame, his abilities. The character of Mrs. Meldon symbolizes love and peace, jealousy and hatred, selfishness and greed, thirst and annoyance. In the scene of the play, Mrs. Meldon is shown wearing a white dress, gray dress, black dress, blue dress. Mrs. Meldon is wearing black dress because it was death anniversary of her son, death anniversary of Tom, necessary, her wish. Pause the video. Write down your answers, then resume it so that you can tell your answers. And here are the correct ones. Curry is a person who does not value human and moral values. The character of Mrs. Meldon symbolizes love and peace. In the scene of the play, Mrs. Meldon is shown wearing black dress. Mrs. Meldon is wearing black dress because it was death anniversary of her son. The character of Eddie represents soldier's spirit, humanity, passion and patriotism, foolishness. In the scene of the play, it's Eddie's third death anniversary, fifth death anniversary, seventh death anniversary, eighth death anniversary. Eddie was killed in the war fighting against Germans, Asians, Canadians, Europeans. Tom Meldon died because he could not tolerate severe heart attack. The death of Eddie, the miserable conjugal life, the World War I. When Eddie was sent to battlefield, he was 19, 21, 23, 25. पॉज कर लें अपनी वीडियो को और अपने आंसर्स लिख लें और अब सुन लें करेक्ट आंसर्स इसके. The character of Eddie represents passion and patriotism. In the scene of the play, it's Eddie's third death anniversary. Eddie was killed in the war fighting against Germans. Tom Meldon died because he could not tolerate the death of Eddie. When Eddie was sent to battlefield, he was 19. अगर आप ये चाहते हैं कि फर्स्ट ईयर की तमाम तर पोएम्स के ओवरऑल एमसीक्यूज के साथ साथ पास पेपर्स भी आप देख सकें तो आपके स्क्रीन के टॉप राइट पे जो आई बटन आ रहा है उसमें फर्स्ट ईयर की तमाम तर पोएम्स की जो प्लेलिस्ट है उसका लिंक मौजूद है. क्लिक करके वो आप देख सकते हैं. When Eddie died, he was a captain, commander, lieutenant, colonel. When the scene of the play starts, Curry is shown to be busy in his experiments, studies, library, schedule. Curry's lady servant Hannah came to inform the arrival of a stranger, a letter, Mrs. Meldon, Gage. Curry thought that the secret of a successful invention is hard work, peaceful and calm atmosphere, reticence, activeness and readiness. Curry was ready to sell his invention to any country which will pay him high price. This thought shows that Curry was greedy and patriotic, practical and business-minded, cool and selfish, greedy and patriotic. आप वीडियो को पॉज करके अपने आंसर्स लिख लें और उसके बाद रिज्यूम करके इसके आंसर्स को चेक कर लें. Here are the right answers. When he died, he was a captain. When the scene of the play starts, Curry is shown to be busy in his experiment. Curry's lady servant Hannah came to inform the arrival of Mrs. Meldon. Curry thought that the secret of a successful invention is reticence. Curry was ready to sell his invention to any country which will pay him high price. This thought shows that Curry was greedy and unpatriotic. अगर आप ये चाहते हैं कि फर्स्ट ईयर के प्रो सेक्शन के तमाम तरह जो चैप्टर्स हैं उनके ओवरऑल एमसीक्यूज along with the past papers सुन सकें, प्रैक्टिस कर सकें, तो उन तमाम की प्लेलिस्ट की जो लिंक है वो आपके स्क्रीन के टॉप राइट पे जो आई बटन है उसमें शो हो रहा है, उसे क्लिक करके आप सुन सकते हैं, प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. Professor Curry's estimation about women is narrow-minded and wrong, quite correct and justified, moderate, wise. Mrs. Meldon ordered his gardener to bring wreath for Professor Curry. Eddie Meldon, Tom Meldon, none. Professor Curry expects to revolutionize war by making it expeditious, horrible, vast, dangerous. Mrs. Maldon comes to know the actual story of Eddie's death, that he was not buried at all, buried solemnly, thrown into the sea, set to fire. Pause the video, write down your right answers, and then resume it so then you can check your answers. The correct ones are here. Professor Curry's estimation about women is narrow-minded and wrong. Mrs. Maldon ordered his gardener to bring wreath for Eddie Maldon. Professor Curry expects to revolutionize war by making it expeditious. Mrs. Maldon comes to know the actual story of Eddie's death, that he was not buried at all. Eddie was not buried because his corpse was missing. He was Hindu. He was completely obliterated. He had already been buried. Eddie's death was mourned by Mr. and Mrs. Maldon, Mrs. Maldon, Professor Curry, Hannah. Professor Curry, in the return of his invention, plans to demand a luxurious car, wealth and peerage, most prestigious award, a position in the government. Mrs. Maldon requests Curry again and again to sell his invention, destroy his invention, increase the number of his invention, annoy him. पॉज कर लें वीडियो को, आंसर्स को लिख लें और अब राइट आंसर्स देख लें. Eddie was not buried because he was completely obliterated. He was completely mutilated. Eddie's death was mourned by Mrs. Maldon. Professor Curry, in the return of his invention, plans to demand wealth and peerage. Mrs. Maldon requests Curry again and again to destroy his invention. Professor Curry is killed in the end by Mrs. Maldon with a knife, by his own gunshot in an accident. None of these. Mrs. Maldon kills her brother in order to save the humanity from disaster, to usurp his dominions, achieve his formula, show her frenzy. In this play, the playwright predicted two things that proved correct. They were next war within 50 years and weapon of massive destruction, tendency of ending wars and hatred, peace and prosperity of the world. None of these. The war that has been referred in this play is World War I, World War II, War on Terror. Pause the video, write down your answers, and then check them out. Professor Curry is killed in the end by Mrs. Maldon with a knife. Mrs. Maldon kills her brother in order to save the humanity from disaster. In this play, the playwright predicted two things that proved correct. They were next war within 50 years and weapon of massive destruction. The war that has been referred in this play is World War I. The World War I started in 1940, 1941, 1914, 1945. The World War I ended in 1940, 1941, 1914, 1918. In the World War I, Britain with other allies fought with Germany and its allies, Korea and its allies, Australia and its allies, none of these. In the World War I, Curry's bomb was used, Mills bomb was used, atomic bombs were used, cluster bombs were used. 30 pieces of silver means the price of Curry's bomb, bribe given for betraying Jesus, pounds equal to 30 pieces of silver, 30 silver coins. Pause कर लें वीडियो को, आंसर्स को लिख लें और रिज्यूम करके अपने आंसर्स चेक कर लें. Here are the correct ones. The World War I started in 1914. The World War I ended in 1918. In the World War I, Britain with the other allies fought with Germany and its allies. In the World War I, Mills bomb was used. 30 pieces of silver means bribe given for betraying Jesus. Organized butchery of boys means slaughter of animals, massacre, deliberate bloodshed in war, butchery done by boys. Gage was the name of Miss Maldon's chauffeur, driver, gardener, keeper. When Eddie died, he was with his 4 companions, 5 companions, 6 companions, 8 companions. Runs made by Eddie in his first cricket match were 9, 8, 10, 11. When Eddie played his first cricket match, Tom gave him £10, a sovereign, a dictionary, £100. लिख लें अपने जवाबात और उसके बाद रिज्यूम करके उसे चेक कर लें. Here are the correct answers. Organized butchery of boys means deliberate bloodshed in war. Gage was the name of Maldon's gardener. When Eddie died, he was with his 4 companions. Runs made by Eddie in his first cricket match were 10. When Eddie played his first cricket match, Tom gave him sovereign. Mrs. Mellon was so much against war because her own son was killed in the war. She hated war weapon. She was a human loving lady. She disliked it. Was Mrs. Mellon against German women? Yes, because her son was killed. Yes, she hated Germans instinctively. No, she did not hate them at all. None of these. Professor Curie is shown in the play a person who is PhD, MPhil, BDS, DSc. By presenting his invention, Curie wanted to be famous and rich, praised. अपने आंसर्स लिख लीजिए और लिखने के बाद रिज्यूम करके वीडियो को उन आंसर्स को चेक कर लें. Here are the right answers. Mrs. Mellon was so much against war because she was a human-loving lady. Was Mrs. Mellon against German women? No, she did not hate them at all. Professor Curie is shown in the play a person who is DSc. By presenting his invention, Curie wanted to be famous and rich. ये वीडियो लंबी हो रही है तो इसको यहाँ पे हम रोकते हैं और इसका पार्ट 2 जब हम अपलोड करेंगे तो उसके अंदर आपको मजीद MCQs मिल जाएंगे. तो देखते रहिएगा चैनल और सब्सक्राइब करना नहीं भूलिएगा. इंशाल्लाह ताला मुलाकात होगी नेक्स्ट वीडियो में जो कि इसी का सेकंड पार्ट होगा. तब तक के लिए अपना ख्याल रखिएगा, मुझे दुआ में याद रखिएगा. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, अल्लाह हाफिज.